Hello, Anas. Good evening. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great.
Great. Good evening, everybody. I am so happy to have with me a special guest today. Somebody who's known as a trainer's trainer and a coach's coach. We are going to talk about a very important topic these days. I understand that everybody is concerned about how they are going to improve their skills, how they're going to learn new skills, how they're going to adapt to all the changes that are happening around them, how to become the pro that every company wants, how to become successful, how to adjust in new situations. All these questions are running through our minds all the time. They upset us quite often. But it's beyond just that. We keep thinking on finding solutions. And when I understood that there could be barriers in the way we decide to learn, in the way we decide to grow as professionals and as individuals, it's important for us to have somebody to talk to, somebody who can advise us, somebody who can help us understand how we can make choices related to learning, related to choosing a coach and finding the right coach for ourselves. So today, this is going to be our point of discussion. We will talk about agile coaching in the age of distancing and how we can upscale our knowledge, our skills, and be the best versions of ourselves. So before we start, I will say just a few words about Anas. Although he has been with me on Quarantine Connect 2020 before, and many of you already know him, he is one of the most wonderful people I have met in my life. Somebody who has been training coaches to perform to their maximum. He's the founder of Talent Maximizer, which is a company that allows people, that helps people, that supports people in finding their strengths and discovering their true talents. Um, so, Anas, let's begin with what do you think about coaching and what coaching really is?
First of all, I want to thank you for this great introduction, I enjoyed it the first time, and I hope this time it will be great as well. Well, coaching, wow, that's a big topic, and we can take time to discuss it. And we hope people can ask questions anytime about this topic, and I hope we can answer most of their on all of their questions. So, coach, what is coaching? Let's think about the word coach from the start. Where does it came from? It actually came from the French language, from the word carriage. So actually, coach came from the French language, and it means carriage. Carriage is the old carriage with the horse with the four wheels. So that's the carriage. So they chose that word for the process of coaching because a coach is responsible for one thing: is to take one person from one place to another through this carriage. So the carriage is responsible to take one person from one place to another, and this is what coaching is all about. As a coach, you are responsible to take a person from one place to another. But this is what a lot of people do not understand. And I'm going to test your knowledge now, Nousheen. Who do you think is in the driver's seat? Is it the coach or the coachee?
It's the coach.
Absolutely not. And this is the big mistake that most of the coaches out there are doing right now. They are in the driver's seat, and this is the problem. So a coach actually is, we can call him not even a co-pilot. He's just on the let's say the co-pilot seat for the only purpose of directing. It's mainly showing options, showing maps, but the driver is deciding everything. So if the driver decides to crash, he lets him crash. If he decides that he wants to go right at this time, even the way might be left, you let him do it. Okay. So this is what people need to understand about coach. Yes.
Right. Why do we need a coach, Anas? Why there are so many coaches around us all of a sudden? I feel that ever since 2018, I have woken up in a new world where there are too many coaches around me, and everybody has a new theory and a new practice to help people with so many different issues that they might be facing, be it related to their professional life or their personal life or their, let's say, family life. So I want to understand, like, why do we really need coaches?
Okay, so I think the number one reason people need coach or need a coach is help. Everybody needs help with some part of his life, but I see it in a
Mm-hmm.
different way. I believe that nobody in this earth is complete. We all have our different personalities. Some of us are thinkers, some of us are executors. So we need a coach to make us understand which personality we have and how to
Yeah.
complete the parts that we are missing. Okay, so for example, if you are a thinker, you always come up with brilliant ideas. You like to sit by yourself, analyze, think about future possibilities. Maybe when the coronavirus came, you're thinking about ways to treat it and how the world will look after this pandemic ends. Okay, so you're a thinker by nature. Okay, so first of all, you need a coach to tell you your personality, which personality you are. So that's number one. The second thing that you need is actually to give you the guidance of how to cover the other half. So if you always came up with ideas all the time about like a business that you need to start, but you actually never started, and that's because of your personality. So he actually needs to guide you through of to get that execution part going. And I want to give one example to give our audience the full picture of coaching, and this is the power of coaching. Let's imagine that you're a
Mm-hmm.
manager and you have a sales team of four or five people, and you want to decide on their target, like their sales target. Okay, would you make it a little bit higher that what you are looking for so that you can motivate them, like it's you make it a little bit tougher so they're always motivated, or would you make it like as same as expectation, so you're being reasonable using logic, or you sometimes want to be nice and make it little bit less? Okay, and the other thing is, would you put them in a competition, or would you make everybody just work by himself? What do you think the
So,
answer is?
from your explanation, Anas, I understand that coaches are primarily facilitators. They are helping people first up understand themselves, understand their personality types, and then make their choices and their decisions about their profession and their life accordingly. So, whenever we feel lost, this is what I've gathered. Whenever we feel lost and we feel that it's difficult to make a decision about who we are and what we want from our lives, we really need the directives from a coach, somebody who will facilitate in understanding how we can make changes to the way we live so that we can live a better life, or the way we perform so that we can perform better in our life and in our workplaces.
I totally agree with you, Nausheen. Just one part, and this is again one of the biggest mistakes that the coaches do. Now we're not talking about the coach, but the people who are seeking a coach do, is they reach a coach when they have a problem or where they are
Yeah.
going through tough time. And this is the mistake that all of us need to understand. That's not true. Okay, you seek a coach at you
Yeah.
are at your best when you have a problem, when you are doing fine in life, because a coach should tell you more about who you really are and give you a better direction in life. So seeking a coach only when you have problem will actually get the coach to focus with you on that problem, which is for me, I found it to be a really big mistake, because once the coach focuses
Yeah.
you on the problem, you waste so much time focusing on the problem and forgetting about the main point of coaching, which is yourself.
True, true. Gilda is saying in the comments, even the coaches need a coach. It's true.
Actually,
We all
that's a
need,
fact.
even when we are coaches, we need.
I love this, Gilda, because actually one of the ways you are making sure that you have a great coach is you actually make sure that he or had or previously or having a coach in his life before as well.
Yes, obviously, everybody needs one. So, coming
Yes.
to the next one, I want to know, like, we all confuse sometimes. Like I said in the beginning, we need a trainer and a coach, and I mixed it up. So many of us mix these terms up. What's the difference in a coach and a trainer and a mentor? How do we identify who's a coach and how a trainer is different from a coach and how a mentor is different from a coach?
Nausheen, I love these questions because there's so many terminologies out there, and people are really getting confused all the time. You know, I was just talking to one of the really big organizations here in UAE, and they told me, "Oh, we actually got a mentor from outside," and I was like, "What?" Actually, a mentor should be from inside. You cannot get a mentor from outside. So I love that you asked me that question. So the first thing, let's talk about a trainer. Okay, a trainer is a person who gives knowledge, who can teach you some skills. Okay, he can be talking or listening, or there is no one way of training, but mainly
Mhm.
the whole purpose of a trainer is to give you new knowledge, give you a new skill. Okay, let's talk about a coach. So we talked about coach. Like very important word that you need to associate with a coach is self-learning, self-direction. So everything is coming from the person. It's not like you're teaching him something new more than you're actually trying to get more out of him. I think a better word for coaching is like digging. It's like you're trying to dig more into a person to understand more about his personality. And then
Mhm.
we move to mentor. Okay, a mentor, and this is a term that's getting put around these days. A lot of people are getting confused and don't understand what a mentor is. A mentor is someone who went exactly through your field, through the same experience, and now
Mhm.
he's willing to share that with you. Okay, so actually your
Okay.
boss can be a mentor because he already went through the same career path that you went through. Okay, so a mentor has to be actually from the same industry, went through the same levels of management that you are about to go through as well. So a mentor has to be coming from the same industry. And a mentor actually can do a lot of things. He can train, he can coach, he can advise, he can consult. So there's nothing necessarily that he focuses on, as long as he's coming from that same industry you're coming from.
Okay, I understand that. Very good explanation, Anas. We got a question here. Rohit is asking how coaching can increase out of the box thinking.
Okay, this is a really big topic that people we will not like my answer to it. Okay, what's wrong with
It's okay,
living?
let it come. Let it come.
No, it's fine. It's a really common question that a lot of people ask. I'm just saying it's an amazing question. I'm just saying that maybe people will not like my answer to it. Okay, what's wrong with being inside the box? Okay, inside the box meaning this is what you are comfortable with, what you understand, where life is easy, where you are happy. Okay, my problem is people don't understand what the box is. The box should be your environment. I believe each person was born to live in a specific environment. Okay, it's like animals. Like animals have habitats. So a monkey is better on the tree. For example, alligator is better in the water. Everybody was born to be in a specific environment, and when you find that environment and you stay in it, this is when people see you amazing. Now, Sheen, do you think all of these amazing figures and successful figures know how to do everything? Do you think they are amazing at everything? Okay. I
No,
don't
no,
want to
no. They
give you
must have.
exactly the only reason people think they are amazing at everything because they are in the right environment. Okay. I'm sure a lot of people out there follow football or soccer and know the Egyptian player Muhammad Salah. Okay. Or people call him Mo Salah from Liverpool. Okay, trust me, when he's playing soccer, he's the right person. People see him amazing, okay? But if we take him and put him in another regular job, he will look average. So the point is, I think each of us need to find the right box for him and be in it. And I hope people really understand what I'm talking about. And of course, I'm not saying people will stay home, sleep, and eat all the time. And if you want to, they can go back to our old video that we did
Conversation,
together in
yeah.
the quarantine. Yes, exactly. And I talked about this. So actually, I want people to look to find their comfort zone. But comfort zone doesn't mean like you're sleeping at home. Comfort zone means there's that really out there an environment for you. Okay, there is someone who worked in a company who was very successful, hit his targets, hit his numbers, and then when he left, went to another organization or left, went to another country, his performance went down. He stopped being happy. Okay, did his
Hmm.
personality change? No, the environment changed.
Yeah, yeah. So by box, you mean that strengths. that every person has his or her own strengths, and when he's building on his or her own strengths, he's able to excel. And when he's excelling, he has that comfort that you are calling a comfort zone. So
You
your
had it. Some
definition of
people.
box and comfort zone is different now, Anas.
Yes, and again, it's people call it the element, people call it strength, people call it talents. There is so many. Some people call it trades. There is so many definitions for it. But again, I love that you hit it that right there, Nausheen.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take the next one then. How many different types of coaches are there, and how do we decide which one to choose?
Okay,
Let's go by
wow.
different types.
Okay. Again, a lot. I probably don't know all of them, and there is so many out there. Even for me, who's been in this coaching industry, I'm about to finish my book. I read so many things about coaching. There is so many coaching out there that I probably
Yeah.
still didn't hear about. But here are some example. NLP is one of the biggest one out there. You know, these people can actually reach a stage when they actually can change your mindset with some of the techniques they are doing. There is strength coaching and talent coaching. This is where coaches try to find people's talent and tell them what's the best thing for them and advise them to reach the right environment for them. There is wellness coaching, there is health coaching, there is even yoga coaching now, there is mental coaching. There is so many coaching out there. How to choose the right one for you is actually what I want to about today, and I hope people will really understand and open their hearts for this part, because I think this is might be the will be the most important part. Let's start with who are
Yeah.
you? Do you know who are you first? Do you know your personality? Do you know what you like? Do you know what you dislike? You need to answer all of these questions first. You need to understand who you really are. Okay. And actually, if you want to seek a coach at the beginning, let's call it an awareness coach, a coach that will sit with you and tell you who you really are. And there's so many things, like we can start with your story. What did you do when you were young? What did you like? What did you dislike? What subjects did you like? You can see it now with your kids. Like some kids prefer some activities than others. Some people are better in school. Some people are better in sports. You know, you need to get back to your story and understand. So that's the first thing. The second thing is questioning. Use the right question to understand who you really are. Okay. So again, I think I've done
Questioning
this
is
with you in the last
great,
video.
and you are
I
absolutely
think
right. Questioning is a great tool. It can help make good decisions. It can help make, let's say, good interaction. It can help in accelerating learning as well. People who are not questioning anything are actually letting a lot of learning opportunities go away. So you're right. We need to question and find out what our needs are so that we are able to make the right choice. Yes, go ahead.
yes, 100% agree. And then again, using different type of questionings. And the third one is assessment. There is so many assessment out there. Again, I prefer the paid ones. They are more legit. There is DISC, there is MPTI, there is Gallup Strength Assessment. There is so many Enneagram. There is so many assessment out there. And the more you know about your personality through those assessment, and I would recommend people to do more than one. I'm a Gallup certified coach, but still, I want to recommend people to do more than one assessment. The more you do, it confirms your personality, and then you look back at your story, and then back at those assessment report and see if it matches or not.
So, what are some of the good personality tests that you recommend?
So again, there is a lot. There is again thousands of them out there, but I would definitely recommend MPTI. This is the Myers-Briggs assessment. I would definitely recommend
Mhm.
DISC. This is actually more. MPTI is more of like how you interact, like your personality versus other people personality and how they interact with each other. And then we have the DISC. This is more of behavior assessment. Like it tells you why you do the things you do and what are your motives in life. So what gets you to move. And then there is my favorite, of course, is the Gallup assessment. You will not find a more accurate assessment about your personality than Gallup. Like when you read the report, you will think like Gallup was living with you somewhere and they're recording your life. They will talk about really specific things about your life. I've read reports with people where it says that you perform better in the afternoons. So you're not a morning person. This is how deep you. I've read the report when it wrote in the report that when your feet touches the sand, when you're not wearing anything, this is the best moments for you. They can give you so many insight about your personality. And again, I want to go back to the same point: is you need to understand your personality first before you choose which direction and which coaching style will fit you the best.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So if a person doesn't understand himself first, he is not likely to make the right choice of a coach.
Yes.
That's what it means, yeah? Okay.
100%. And actually, it takes us to the first sign of that you have chosen the right coach or not, is awareness. If the coach starts with you, tell me what are your goals in life, what are your plans 5 years from now, what are your problems in life, right away you know this is not the right coach for you. The right coach for you will definitely start with awareness. Let's do an assessment. Let me understand more about your personality. Tell me more about your life. I think you minimum need to spend 3 to 4 sessions before you dig into goals or problems or anything in life. Mainly just spend time. The reason I want people to spend time with coaches in awareness, because it's actually good for the coach and for the person. So a person is getting to know more about his personality. And as a
Yeah.
coach, I know now more about personality. Remember the story I just told you about the salespeople? Okay, so should you give a
Yeah.
higher target or a medium target or a lower target? This is, if you don't understand people's personality, how can you give the targets? People think if they give higher targets all the time, this is better. Or if you give lower targets all the time, this is better. You need to understand the person sitting in front of you
Mm,
before you understand how to deal with him or how to get the best out of him.
right. So, after we have chosen a coach, understanding what kind of people we are and what do we want from our life and our performance and things like that, the major questions about self awareness. Um, how do we know if the person we have chosen is right? And what are some features of a good start of a coaching session? Let's say
The-
how a successful coaching session begins. Simple question.
Okay, so again, I would believe the first thing a coach should do with a person is awareness. So if you start with awareness, that means you're in the right track. So this is the first sign that you are in the right track. The other sign is you need to understand that the coach does understand that everybody's different. Is he dealing with you as if everybody has the same personality? Is he giving, one of the things that really bothers me, and this is a really good sign that tells you that you're in really good hands, when a coach tell you, I've tried this and it worked for me. You know what? It doesn't mean if it works for you that it works for the person sitting in front of you. Okay, so you need to understand
Yeah.
all of these signs. A coach never tells. He always asks questions. He never and this is oh my god, this is a really important key as well. Is he trying to change your personality? How many times he talks to you about changing your personality? A coach doesn't change personality. A coach improves
Yeah.
personality. we if you have the right coach, he should want you to be a better version of who you really are, not trying to make
Yeah.
you someone that you are not,
Somebody
or become someone.
else.
Yes.
Okay, I understand that. So we have to take care of the fact that our coach is actually not trying to change us into somebody completely different, but is only facilitating us into becoming the best version of ourselves. And how do we know what are the right questions to ask from our coach in the beginning, Anas? Like, how
I'm
do we
sorry.
ask? Yeah, you couldn't hear? Okay, I will repeat.
Yeah,
How do
go
we
ahead.
know what are some of the right questions to begin with in a coaching session when we are just sitting with our coach in the beginning?
Okay. I actually want to give like a quick guideline, and let's see if this will help. Okay. So we want, especially at the beginning of a coaching session, a coach to know a couple of things. Okay. The first thing that we want him to understand, what make you stand out. Okay, so what makes you stand out? There is a big area there. There is strength, there is talent. So he should be asking questions. What are you do best? When are you at your
Mm.
best? When is the best moment you feel you're at best? In the last week, what is the activities you've done that you felt extremely engaged and extremely happy? With these questions, you get to understand more about people's talent, about people's strength, about people's traits and habits, and what they like and what they don't like. So that's the first part, and you should be covering that with a lot of questions. The second part, what makes a person move. Okay, we have so many values and motives in life, and they are all different. Some people move because family, some people move because of their security, some people move because of their money, for example. So you need to understand what makes people move. This is a very important question, and it's really easy. What are your values in life? What is the most important thing in your life? There is so many questions. Okay, if I tell you family, money, security, teamwork, having friends around you, can you put those in order? All of these questions that can get you to understand what makes the person move, what is the most important thing for him in life. The other part that should be covered with questions as well: what slows you down? Why every time you try to make a decision, like to start a business or to move from one job to another, what slowed you down? What made you not take that step? So you need to understand there is aggravators, there's things that slows people down, there is weaknesses. Like we have those things. So as a coach, you need to make sure that you are covering this part. And this is my favorite part: how your brain works. Okay, there is people out there, they are analytical thinkers. There is people there, they are introverts. There is people there who are extroverts. So you need to understand there is a specific environment where your brain functions better. So you need to understand that environment. So when I give an assignment to one of my coaches, I will tell him, okay, find someone to do it with, or you need to sit by yourself. You need every day you need to have 20 minutes to meditate and think about your life options. Every person from this whole world has his own way of doing this. And the last thing that you should be covering in understanding more about your coachee as a coach, and this is very important, is how you interact with the people around you. Who are the type of personalities that gets the best out of you? Who are the people that aggravates you and get the worst out of you? What you need the people around you to know about your personality. There is so many things. If the people around you understand, I'll give an example. I had a strength called harmony. Okay, and this is one of the Gallup 34 strength. With harmony,
Okay.
the more I argue with people, it brings the worst out of me. This is how my brain is created. I cannot change it. Okay, you can go to other coaches who will try to change it and tell you, oh, when you get aggravated, you need to think about your happy place. I'm not a big believer of this. This is what makes you beautiful, because actually harmony, when people are having arguments, you actually know how to solve it. You give them really good ideas on how to collaborate and work together. So we actually don't want to get rid of it. Okay, but just knowing this information and telling the people around you that I don't like to argue, it solves so much problems in my life. Just people understanding that this is something that they need to know about my personality. For me, this was right there, a winner right away.
Okay, good, very good points. What are some of the problems and challenges in coaching services? Let's say for the coachees and the coaches.
Okay, so I will definitely start with the coaches. Okay, so the first thing, and I already talked this about, that people see coaches to as a reactive solution, not a proactive solution. Okay, so you seek a coach when you're only having a tough time, when you're having problems, when you are down, when your business is failing. And I totally disagree with this. Coaching is a proactive process. You should seek coaches at your best. Okay, a coach can help you understand more about yourself, improve, and I believe we understand more about people when they are at their best. Because actually, when I ask you and when I meet someone at his worst, all I know is what he needs to avoid, but I still don't know what he needs to be happy. So you only actually know more about people when they are at their best, when they are happiest, when they are using their strength, when they are at the zone. The second
But this is
point
very
is,
common, Anas. This is very common. Sorry to cut you short.
yeah, please.
Most of the people who are seeking help from coaches are going to them when they're in trouble or when they have a situation to meet with. They realize, okay, I need help. So it's better to go for a coach and try to understand how I can solve it because I'm not able to solve it on my own. So I personally believe that, let's say, 85% of the coaching decisions or the decisions to choose a coach happen when there is already a trouble. So I'm not sure if there was any case in the history, in my knowledge, where somebody went to a coach in their good times. So did you ever experience a case? where the person who needed help from a coach went to them because they were having a stable situation and had no problem.
Okay, I've convinced some people to start getting coached when they're not having any problems in life, and the effect was so much better. And I can guarantee that the effect is so much better. And again, now, Sheena, I will go back to the same main point. Okay, if I ask you to share a really bad story that happened to you, all we understand from that story is what you don't like, where you don't fit. But again, from that story, we don't understand where you belong. Only we understand where you belong when I hear a successful story. Okay, people think we learn better from our mistakes. That's totally incorrect. We learn so much better from our positive experiences, because only a positive experience guarantees that if you do it again, you will be
Mhm.
happy. But if you do the opposite of a negative experience, it doesn't mean that you will be happy. The only thing that guarantees you is that you're just not going to go through the same bad experience exactly the same way. But the only way you can be happy is repeating a successful experience in life. The second point is, and this is very important, when a coachee seeks a coach for life. Okay, and I meet people as like, you know what, today is my Wednesday session with the coach, blah blah blah. Okay, and I was like, what do you mean today is Wednesday? It's like, no, I've been meeting this coach for the last 2 years every Wednesday for 2 hours. What? Why? Why do you have to meet a person for 2 years for him to change you or to give you guidance or to? So every time, and I actually don't. I'm not a big fan of life coaching, honestly, because it gives an indication that you need someone for life. Okay, but coaching should be short term. As a coach, you should only, or a coachee should seek a coach for a short term, only for maybe 6 to 10 sessions max, to give him some guidance, some and more understand it about his personality, to tell him more about the perfect environment for him. And once you hand this manual to the coachee, you should leave him. If you stay with a coach for life, for me, I honestly doesn't believe. By the way, guys, there is mental. Like psychology and people helping people with mental things. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about this. I'm just talking about coaching. And so I just want to make this clear. The third sign and the third recommendation for coaches is being dependent. Okay, when you seek a coach, he should make you independent. So every time in the future, even if you leave him and you face a problem, that doesn't mean you have to go back to him again. Okay, he should give you a manual about your personality that should guide you through your life. And again, choosing goals. So after you understand someone's personality, if you really choose the right goals and the right direction for life, he should be set. Okay, again, not all the time it's correct. Maybe you need to do it again, but just giving people goals without understanding, I think this is and this takes us to the coaching part. I believe the biggest mistake that coaches are doing out there is giving goals to people, and these goals are not fitting their personalities. Okay, okay, you will start going to the gym every day.
One thing. Yeah,
Tell me.
before we move on, because we are going to talk about goal setting in detail, and also before moving to goal setting, I have a thing to say here.
Yes.
Before we started off with all these so many points, which are very informative, we decided that it's actually the coachee who is responsible for directing the entire experience of coaching and learning from it. So, coming to this point, what do you think is the right productive behavior, attitude, and perception coming from a coachee that makes a session successful, regardless of the length of the session?
Okay. I would say that it's his responsibility to choose the right coach, to make sure that he's with the right coach. But I believe that it's the coach responsibility to get people to fall in love with the coaching sessions. Okay, so if you attend coaching sessions when you are bored, when the coach is not getting you engaged, it's the coach's fault. A coach should know your personality very well, so he knows how to engage you, what the right exercises for you, what are the right discussions for you, how the percentage of telling versus questions, should it's 80-20 or should it be more, should we use some coaching tools out there. So I honestly believe it's the coach responsibility to make the
Mm.
coaching sessions worthwhile and informative.
Right. Okay. I got your
But
point.
again,
Okay, coming to the goal
it's the
setting.
coach's responsibility to choose the right coach. So this is very important.
Okay. So coming to the next one, the goal setting point that I picked. You said that they have to work together on setting up the goals, and coach should not be the person setting the goals.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay,
So
so
how do, for example, I am a coachee and I'm taking some coaching services from somebody who's my coach. How do I understand that he is facilitating me in setting my own goals rather than setting them up for me? Because sometimes coaches recommend some activities that I need to do before the next session. So when they do that, sometimes they're setting up a goal for you automatically because they want you to go act, react in a certain way in different situations and then come up with your answers to for something. So what do you say? How do I track whether it's my goals or his goals? Because sometimes very easily the space in which both of them are moving can create confusion in which the coachee will assume that the goals were set by him but they were not actually set by him. They were let's say directed by the coach. So I need your guidance on this.
okay, so remember when we talked about the problems with coaching nowadays, with coaches, and then we with coaches. One of the biggest problem that coaches are doing nowadays with any coaching sessions is
Yeah.
whose personality is coming up in the coaching sessions. Is it the coach's
Mm.
personality or is it the coachee's personality? Okay, so again, if you hear things, this worked for me before, I need you to put a strategy for yourself. Okay, no, that only tells us that the coach is really good with putting strategies and he wants to force the other person to put a strategy. Okay, you need a long-term goal for your life. How do you know that he needs a long-term goal? What if short-term goals work better for him? So all of these indications tells you which personality is showing up. Is it the coach's personality or is it the coachee's personality? And again, if we do not dig in personal awareness, if as a coach you don't invest the time to understand the coachee's personality, so you will always you will have nothing basically to tell him other than direct advice or telling him what to do or setting goals for him. So again, if you spend time with uh, with the coachee to understand his personality, I believe this is the key. And I want to go back. Remember that list that I made? Like you need to know what makes you move, what makes you stand out, what makes you slow down, how your brain works, and how you interact with others. So when you choose a goal, let's say you and the coachee came up and chose a goal for you guys, you need actually to run by this list. Will this goal put you in a place that will make you stand out, use your strength, use more of your personality, be more of who you really are? So that's the first question that you should ask the goal that you chose. The second question is, does it plays any interactions with the things that makes you move, your values, your behaviors? If you choose a goal that is against someone's values, then it's not going to get done. Even if he started, he cannot continue. Okay, so that's the second side. Does it take you away from what makes you slow down, what gets you aggravated, away from your weaknesses? So you need to check that as well. Does it align with how your brain works? Okay, so all of that you need to check before. Okay, choosing the goal might be easy, but confirming it is what you need to spend time with. And then at the end, with this goal, get you to interact more with the people you love or with the people that you are trying to hide from. Okay, and this is the key to choosing a goal. You need to run these goals by these lists or these awareness checklists that you made with your coaches on the sessions.
Great. So every coachee need a checklist of his own in which he keeps tracking on what's happening in the sessions and whether he is gaining from it, whether he's rightly directed towards his own personal goals that he wanted to achieve through these or not. Very good advice, Anas. Thank you so much. Okay, so when do I know I have to stop taking help from my coach? Like you said, that somebody was using a coach for 2 years, and if that person hadn't met you, they might have continued for a lifetime. So how do we know when is the right time to stop?
Okay, so I believe if you have done everything that we've talked about since this session right, you should be in the right track. So you chose the right coach for you, you chose the right coaching for you. coaching was more about self-awareness. So you will reach a level when you really understand, like, okay, so this is one of the really good questions that we ask people is, how much do you know yourself? Okay, so some person, I know myself very well. Okay, so I will ask him to tell me, okay, tell me 5 things that you do very well, and then sometimes he answers, sometimes he doesn't. So the level of self-awareness for me is the indication and when to stop. You will reach a level that this coach have taken you to a really high level of self-awareness, and choosing like a path or a direction or a goal for you that really fits your personality. And I believe this is when you stop. You need to take that goal journey by yourself. You cannot let, or we can, sometimes we call it actions, by the way, it's not necessarily goals. So we choose an like, okay, small actions, then the main action is finalized. This is when you need to disconnect from the coach and see that you're really independent from the coach, and try to go through this journey by yourself. If it's going smooth and you are now more aware of what you do and what you don't do and how you're interacting with people, how to use the people around you, I think this is when the sign that should tell you that you are confident now to go with your own journey by yourself. But if you're always coming back to the coach, being dependent on him, goals are not working for you, again, you should stop, because again, it tells you that you are with the wrong coach again.
Right. Great. I understand that. Um, Somebody asked a question related to coaching versus professional acceptance for coaches. And they say that if coaching is balanced with professional acceptance of coaches, it works better.
I'm gonna be honest. It's the term is new for me. So can you just, maybe if you can tell us what does he mean by acceptance? I'm really sorry. It's just a new term for me.
He said that like you need
I'm not sure.
advisor to guide you, which insurance you should take. So coaching is like that in a broader sense. Like you need to accept perhaps the professional services of a coach in order to benefit from the services better. Perhaps this is what he means.
Okay. I definitely. If you choose the right coach for you, and it's going well, and the coach should be smart. Like I coach everybody out there differently. Okay, depending on his personality, and you can win people really easily. Okay, for example, if you're coaching someone who is really highly logical, you need to coach him through numbers, through statistics, through charts. If you have someone who's loves putting strategies, you can coach him through putting the right strategy for him. If you have someone who's a really good big competitor, he loves competition by nature, you can coach him by setting a competition for him. You should get the coachee to trust you. And definitely, and I totally agree with him, once you build trust with the coach, the coaching sessions goes much better and much smoother. And this is my opinion for people out there. It's the coach responsibility to own your trust. And if it doesn't happen with the first maximum second sessions, I would advise people to change coaches right away.
Okay. Wow. Yes, it's true. It's good. It's better to change a coach if you are unable to build the right trust and you see that it's not working according to your expectations. Better make a new decision and find somebody else. And then, secondly, I'd recommend that every coach has their, let's say, a bank of clients, people they have a client portfolio, people they have served and helped before. And it's always best to take opinion of a few people before you select somebody for the services.
100% agree. And I honestly recommend people to take the genuine feedback. Okay, you can know the genuine feedback from the other. From when you go into coaches pages, you will see people who like, the coach is amazing, wow, he changed my life. I don't like those kind of feedbacks. The feedbacks we are looking for, that specifics. He understood something about my personality, he made me go to the right place, he understood my values better, he understood my personality, he treated me like I'm a person who has a unique and a different personalities. Those are the feedbacks that you should be looking for on coaches websites or LinkedIn pages or even Facebook pages. These are the things that you should be looking for.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Anas, for a great session today. We have definitely learned a lot from you. I'm sure that everybody will make use of all these great tips and guidelines before choosing their coaches to help them with either their professional or personal life. In order to meet with Anas, you can see below his website address and email addresses there. You can also connect with Anas Aldahoud on LinkedIn and take a personal advice for your future decisions. Thank you, Anas. Have a good night.
Thank you, Nausheen. This has been amazing. Thank you so much.